They came for the scent of weakness. The Vrakal Dominion, scaled and cruel, had long drifted across the stars, consuming weaker species for sustenance. Their fleets descending like storms upon primitive worlds. To them, humanity was simply the next meal. It began in the Aurelian Belt, a peaceful mining colony of 70,000 souls orbiting a pale blue gas giant. The humans there lived quiet lives, hauling ore, growing food in domes, teaching children under twin moons. They had no weapons beyond the small defense drones required for asteroid debris. The Vrakal arrived with banners of flame. Without warning or declaration, their destroyers cut through the orbital defenses and fired upon the colony domes. Plasma fire rained like meteors. Air turned to glass. Whole districts burned in silence as comms went dead. When the last signal flickered through subspace, it carried only static and screams. The Dominion Admiral, Corthan of the Black Claw, stood over the holotable as the human colony turned to ash. "Weak prey," he hissed to his officers. "Soft flesh, slow minds, barely sapient. The galaxy will thank us for cleansing it." Around him, his sub-commanders chittered in laughter. They tore open captured human supplies, small trinkets, photographs, journals. They mocked the images of children, of old men smiling in front of blue oceans. To them, this was not war. This was culling. The arrogance of conquerors' days turned to weeks. The Vrakal spread through the belt, harvesting the wreckage for metals, converting the mining stations into slave holds. A few human survivors were captured for study, dissected, probed, catalogued like insects. They found humanity's communication networks, their fragmented colonies, their scattered fleets. To Corthan, it confirmed what he already believed. Humanity was primitive, fractured, unworthy of the stars. "They are scavengers of the old Earth world," he declared in the Dominion Council. "A prey species pretending to stand among predators. Their fleets are small, their soldiers untrained. Their world," he spat the translation like venom, "Earth is a stone among giants," the other warlords agreed. To prove dominance, Corthan ordered the execution of the human envoy sent to negotiate peace. The broadcast was sent across all frequencies. The envoy bound, kneeling, eyes unbroken even as plasma burned through him. The galaxy watched in silence. The Dominion feasted that night. They roasted meat, drank blood wine, and howled songs of victory. They believed humanity would bow, or hide, or vanish into the shadows. They had seen it countless times before, but the humans did not send diplomats again. They sent nothing at all. The silence before the storm. For 3 weeks, the stars were quiet. No messages, no retaliation, no ships. Some of the Dominion's younger commanders mocked the humans for their cowardice. "They scurry into their nests," one sneered. "Perhaps they will send a complaint to the Council of Species." But the older ones, those who had fought across centuries, felt something else. Something they couldn't name, because the silence wasn't natural. It wasn't fear. It was the silence of a hunter watching. Then, a week later, Dominion border sensors began to fail. Not all at once. Just little things at first. Outposts going dark. Patrol fleets losing contact. A freighter found drifting. Crew missing. Hull scorched with strange burns that melted armor like wax. Whispers began. The Vrakal were fearless predators, but something had entered their hunting grounds. Something unseen, and on the 30th day after the massacre of Aurelian Belt, the skies screamed, "Earth's shadow awakens." The first sign was a signal, a pulse transmitted across all Dominion space. A single phrase, translated into their tongue, "You killed our children. We are coming." Then came the fleet. They emerged from the dark between stars, black ships with no signatures, hulls of obsidian, running silent and cold. The Dominion sensors registered nothing until it was far too late. Human warships, not scouts, not frigates, dreadnoughts, each the size of a small moon, bearing the sigil of the Terran Defense Command. A single blue planet encircled by a burning ring. The Dominion's border fleet of 120 ships engaged them over the crimson world of Kareth. The battle lasted 7 minutes. Every Dominion vessel, gone, not disabled, not defeated, erased. Survivors of nearby listening posts reported only flashes of light and then silence. Later, the wrecks would be found, torn apart with surgical precision, their power cores extracted, their bridges cored clean through. When the Dominion's high command demanded identification, Earth sent another transmission. This one was visual. Admiral Kane of the United Terran Fleet stood before a backdrop of stars, eyes cold, voice without inflection. "We warned your kind. We offered peace. We offered coexistence. You answered with slaughter. You took civilians, scientists, and children. You thought we were prey. You were wrong. He leaned closer. Predators don't announce themselves. They hunt. And now, his voice lowered to a whisper. We hunt you. The breaking of the Dominion. The next month was chaos. The Terran fleet struck with mathematical precision, not across the Dominion's front lines, but deep inside its heart. Shipyards vaporized, fuel depots vanished. Entire garrisons found their own orbital guns turning against them, reprogrammed remotely by Terran infiltration AIs. Human stealth drones slipped into atmospheres, targeting command bunkers with kinetic rods that struck faster than light. The ground shook with impacts that split continents. Corthan, the once proud admiral, watched as his empire burned, his comms filled with desperate pleas from planetary governors. We cannot hold them, my lord. They see us before we can even detect them. They kill the lights, the air, the sound, then they come. The Dominion tried to counterstrike, sending fleets of thousands, but humanity's ships fought like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. They didn't form neat lines or engage in traditional warfare. They hunted. They stalked. Human ships appeared behind enemy formations, fired point blank, and vanished. They used gravity wells as traps, asteroids as ambushes, black holes as weapons. In every engagement, one phrase echoed through the comms, whispered by terrified alien crews before death consumed them. Predators unleashed. The day of the Iron Rain. The climax came over Vrakal Prime itself. Corthan's fleet, the last remnant of his dominion, gathered to defend their homeworld. 3,000 warships arrayed in orbit, planetary shields raised, orbital cannons locked on the void. They waited for the human fleet to appear. For days nothing came. Then without warning, the stars blinked. Not dimmed. Blinked. Gone. The entire system's light disappeared behind something vast and moving. A wall of metal. The Terran Retribution. Armada had arrived, 72 dreadnoughts, each escorted by swarms of strike cruisers and black interceptors. Their formation covered half the planet's visible sky. Corthan ordered all guns to fire. Thousands of plasma beams erupted upward, bathing the heavens in fire. But the humans didn't dodge. They advanced. Shield walls absorbed the heat, dissipating gigatons of energy like mist. Then Earth answered. 12,000 kinetic projectiles dropped from orbit, each one the size of a shuttle, glowing white as they pierced the atmosphere. The aliens called it the Iron Rain. Cities vanished beneath molten waves. Military complexes crumbled into dust. Oceans boiled. The sky burned crimson for hours. In orbit, the Dominion fleet broke formation, ships colliding as terror spread. Human fighters sliced through them like hawks among crows, silent and merciless. When Corthan's command ship was boarded, it wasn't with brute force, but with precision. Human marines in exo-armor entered through the hull breach. Their eyes glowed beneath polarized visors, their movements fluid. Wordless, Corthan tried to speak, to surrender, to plead. One of them, a captain, raised a hand, projecting an image of the Aurelian belt. Burning. This is where you began it, she said quietly. And this is where it ends. Then her rifle fired once, the fall of predators. When the smoke cleared, the Vrakal Dominion no longer existed. Of its 43 core worlds, 30 were gone, rendered uninhabitable. The rest surrendered without a fight. The few surviving ships drifted aimlessly through space, engines dead, crews broken. The galaxy trembled. Species who had mocked humanity's naive diplomacy now locked their borders. Empires that once demanded tribute sent envoys bearing apologies. Even the pirate lords of the outer reaches whispered of Earth's vengeance, a force that moved like a shadow across the stars. But humanity did not gloat. There were no celebrations, no speeches. Earth simply turned off the lights and went quiet again. The Terran fleets returned to their stations, weapons powered down, hulls scarred but intact. The soldiers buried their dead, repaired their ships, and said nothing. The galaxy waited for another strike, but it never came. Instead, one last message was transmitted, not as a threat, but as a warning, sent to all frequencies, all species, all corners of known space, the whisper that ended empires. We did not seek war. We never wanted your worlds, your resources, or your submission. We sought peace, coexistence, and silence among the stars. You thought our silence meant fear. You mistook mercy for weakness. You hunted us because we were quiet. But know this, humanity does not forget. We endure, we wait, and when the time comes, we do not bark or roar or warn, we hunt. The message ended there. No signature, no coordinates. Just the image of Earth's blue marble turning slowly in the dark. For decades after, the Vrakal ruins stood untouched. No one dared claim their territory. No scavenger fleets entered their systems.